on, guys? It is your boy Seso here, bringing us a little Photoshop tutorial here today. Brings a little Plexus tech little theme banner design that I have going on here. You can see the example here. I came up with this style though from you guys really enjoyed the Plexus text effect that I did. I got like 50,000 views. You guys really liked the style, how it looked. So I thought it'd be pretty badass if I use that theme for the text and like bring it over to like use it for like a backing or some kind of like theme banner design for, you know, a header or whatever. So I have an example here. I just, like I said, I called it like Plexus Tech. It kind of like got a little Plexus theme going on just because I put like little triangles going on somewhere with like a darker theme, with like some very abstract lines. And overall, it's just a very fun looking, really attractive like design. I really like the way it came out for my practice design. I hope it comes out just as good as a tutorial one. So yeah, the whole thing I'm going to take from this really quickly is if you see me putting a lot, don't, like, I'm just like, if I'm probably like, you know, I'm probably going to forget to like do a little bit just because it looks like there's a lot going on, but truly it's just a whole bunch of like, you know, I guess you call it like depth of kind of like field, with like blurs and like, you know, really nice CC work, just random lines and stuff. There's not that many lines actually. Of course, you have this like one less like bar blurred off. That's kind of like the main little like, you know, thing you're just looking at immediately. Really has like really nice like darker like, you know, surfaces over here and over here, whatever, and you have these nice blurred lines in the background. But there's not that much going on for you to actually get that effect. So that's what I want you to keep in mind while we're going to be doing this today. So also the color, like, you know, your color scheme is a very nice, you know, thing you like learn about or think about before you do this. I'm probably going to go with the same colors here. I probably have like a nice, I think it's like this color, like a green and a blue, like this right here. If you want to take mine, I think it's ABAA5 for the blue that I'm going to be using for this tutorial, the hex code for it, and the green is B5E163. Those if you want to take those hex codes, put them in your foreground and background color. That's what I'm going to be using. So, all right. That all being said, don't forget, guys, 200 likes on the video equals a secret down below. So don't forget to leave a like and get the PSD of this file if you guys wish to. I just want to say thank you guys so much because I've been hitting like consistent like 250 likes, and it's just a very good feeling. So thank you guys so much for that. Alright, sweet. So to start this off, of course, we're going to need a background. So the background that I have started off with is actually the hex code 171717 for the black here. So basically, to get this started, all we're going to be using really is, here, I'll show you this on this. All we really use for this is a whole bunch of circles and, like, you know, you got like the, what is this? Jeez, I can't think of it. The polygon, like, tool here. Like the elliptical tool, and as well as if you want to use rectangles or whatever, rectangle tool. The reason why I use these tools here and not just like using the marquee tools up here is because with these tools, it allows you to fill your color in with like a fill or a stroke. So if you're familiar with Illustrator, so it's kind of like that kind of theme going on, or like that kind of like that, like, how would you call it, like the mechanics? I guess that's a good word, whatever. So yeah, you can use a fill and or stroke to fill in if you want to fill in, or use a stroke for it, just if you want to only get the stroke. Or you can also use, if you wish to, the rectangle marquee tool and stuff. That's if you just want to use, like, you know, select, modify, expand, and stuff like that. That's how I got this shape here, though. You will not be able to get this kind of like very odd circular, like, you know, hexagon kind of shape going on here, unless you do what I just said. Like, you know, you fill this in with like a color or whatever, then you go to select, modify, expand to expand it, and then you just use the fill, you lower it down all the way, you put your stroke on, and that's how I did it. So if you guys want to, like, you know, try to reverse that, I'm not going to show you guys with that though. So, alright, anyway, let's get going. So, make a new layer here, and to start this off, we're going to be using the elliptical tool here, and we're going to hold shift. If you hold shift while you're doing it, if you're trying to make a circle and it's not perfect, it'll be very hard for you to do that if you're not holding shift. That way it makes it completely perfect for you, and you're ready to go. So, just like so, we're going to leave this color, that blue. No, we're not. We're going to go with this, like, color right here. I'll change it in a little bit, though. It doesn't really matter. So for now, we're going to leave that fill in, just a nice little circle here. We're going to make another new layer. Make sure you make another new layer, just because of these tools here. If I didn't make a new layer, I'll show you guys right now. If I try to make another circle, which we're going to need to do, and if I try to do that, it would combine it with this one. And that's don't do that. Make sure you make a new layer, and then we'll do the little circle again. But for this one, we're going to take the fill, we're going to turn it off, which is right here, this little X thing, or like a little slash going on. Turn that off. That's what the off button is, basically, for this. And for your stroke, you want to turn it on. That way you just click over here, select the color. We'll just select this one just to match it for now. We're going to change the points, though, to 0.2. And then with this, you can just press enter on your keyboard. Then you can use your movement tool, which is right here, directional tool. And we're going to make sure it's like somewhere in the middle, which is, I guess that's okay. For this though, we're gonna group these together. So Control click on these two, Control G to group it together, Control J to go ahead and merge it, and then Control E to go ahead and Control J to duplicate, Control E to merge it. And you guys probably know all these gosh darn like shortcuts. But if you're like new to my channel, those are how you do it. I use those all the time, no matter what I do. I never right click, duplicate layer. I never do that. I always use Control J. So for this, I'm gonna make another new layer or another like duplicate of this, but I'm gonna just hold Alt this time and just move it over, and then Control T to free transform while holding Shift. Click on the little corner here, and then lower it down just one more. All right, so basically we're gonna get this like little main bar that we have going on here, and these are a lot more smaller. So I might actually try to do that. Just make it a little more smaller, and we'll go something like this. That's fine. And I will take this one, put it over there. Take this one, put it over here. All right, cool. So now what you want to do is change your brush settings for this next step. So you're going to click B on your keyboard, which is your brush settings here, or just click on your brush, and then right click on this somewhere around the canvas. And for this, you want to change your hardness all the way up from 0 to 100. That way it has less of a blurry, like, tip to it or whatever you would say, or like, blurry edges. And then for your size, you just want to take this and put it to maybe about 10 points or so. What this is going to do is we're not actually going to be using the brush to, actually we'll put it to like, is this a good size? I'll put it to 15 for now. We'll see what it looks like. If we got to change it, we can change it. But we're going to be doing the little pen tool trick here. And with the pen tool, if I just basically like make some simple lines, which you're going to have to do, of course. You're going to put like connect the dots, I guess. And we're going to do something like this. And then like this. Then something like that. Just like that. If you want to look up like Plexus, Plexux or US on Google and like see what kind of like like what the lines like kind of like do or whatever, you can see I just kind of like copy that a little bit. That's what I have going on here, but of course I just know from the tutorial that I did for like the text effect. But yeah, just like try to like do some like straight lines, nothing really curvy unless you're going for like a curvy style. Who knows, right? It's up to you, of course. But just try and keep it as straight as possible, keep that like Plexus theme going. But for this, we're gonna take this stroke here, right, and we're gonna make it a line. Now the reason why I'm not just using stroke path pencil is because I don't want. I know from like experience that if you use a pencil, you do diagonal lines, it's never of quality. It doesn't look correct. It just looks really ugly. But for brush, if I clicked on brush and I change my settings like I did before, press OK. Now you have some pretty thick lines. Do these work? We'll probably change it a little bit lower. So for the size, we'll just put to 5 or 10 or so. By the way, this will also all change depending on what your canvas is. I'm in like a Twitter header canvas. I also did put it up by like 100 in each. The regular Twitter canvas is 1500 by 500. I put my resolution at 200. You can go higher if you want to. I'm just using it for example, nothing really crazy. But of course, if you're making a background, make sure your resolution is pretty high. And just overall, obviously your settings is not going to be the exact same as what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, we're going to make a new layer. Right click, stroke path, and now I want to use brush. It should make a nice, alright, good line here. Press delete path. And this way I'm going to make everything the same color. So I'm going to just double click on this, color overlay, and then click that. There we go. Now we have our little line going on, and it looks pretty good. So for our next step is basically doing all the other lines, all the other shapes and all that crazy stuff. So for this, it should be very, very simple. Make another new layer. We can group this together though. We can call this bar. I press Control G to group it together. Call that bar for now, right? And make another new layer. And with this layer, we can just do some very minimal lines. Not too many lines, but just something, I don't know, just it's really hard to make something abstract. When I say that, I mean like not having, like right now, I'm fixing points. This is my brain telling me like it doesn't look right. Try your hardest. I just did it, but try your hardest not to care too much about where you're going with this. And look at me using, oh my gosh, I'm like completely going back on my words. But so something like something like that. And then maybe I don't like too much going up on the top. Something like that can work. Kind of want to bring this over here though. Bring this over this way. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. I don't want to make it look too whatever, like crazy and messy, but just trying to keep it as abstract as possible. Like I have these over here. I did some random lines going basically like this way out of the canvas, going straight right here. One up here as well, going through this one. I didn't do too many lines. So with that being said, though, I guess I can just leave it to do something like I'll put something over here, come out, and then some lines like that, like I did before. Sure. Will that look okay? I think it will. If it doesn't, whatever, you can always just fix it if you wish to, if you're doing it on your own. But for now, for tutorial purposes, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Although, I just don't like how it's looking right there. I don't know what it is. Alright, whatever. Sure. Alright, we're done for now. Anyway, for this, we're going to use our brush again. So, we're going to change our points, though, to about a very nice little smaller point. So, about 3 would work. On a new layer, pen tool, stroke path, brush. There we go, and then we have some pretty skinny lines. All right, it didn't look as bad as I thought it would. I'm very happy about that. So for this, I did use a secondary color. I used yellow on this one first, and then my lines on this one are the green. So with that being said, just so you know, you can have 2 separate colors going on right now. So yeah, for now, we're gonna do another new layer, and we're gonna add some very simple shapes. So for this, we're gonna add some shapes. You can just use the shapes from here. That's what I did before. Hold shift. And for this, though, I'm going to have it only be outlines. You can do whatever the heck you want. You can do exactly what I did before with these, but I'm going to be using just the strokes. So I'm going to turn off the fills and put the strokes on. And I'm going to put the stroke size to the same size as the, these lines right here, which are 0.2. And press enter. There we go. And then for this, I can press Control T to free transform them. Make this a little bit more smaller. I'm going to make a duplicate of it, though, so Control J. Then Control T to free transform again, shrink it down and make it just a little bit smaller. I'll give it a little bit of a rotation and put it right near the middle, or just some kind of like, you know, what you kind of like feel like would work. With this though, I don't like the fact that I'm going to make the inner ones a different color. So I'm going to make this blue here. Or just do it like this, fine. Make this blue. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to do another shape. So we'll just do a rectangle. Or no, rectangle. Boom. So make another new layer. Rectangle going on right here. Oops. Just like so. Take the fill, turn it off, put the stroke on, make it a color. Points, change to 0.2, and then you're gonna start getting like a nice little motion. If you want to do anything else, you could, like, please go for it. If you want to use any other shapes or just like mess around with like the shapes, it doesn't all have to be the same proportions. I'm just keeping it that way just because I like how it looks. Just like something like that. I can put like, what else can I do? I can put like, I want to put like all different shapes. I'm going to do the outline stuff. So what I can do is go ahead and put like maybe like an ellipse. Who knows if that'll look right. I don't know if that'll look right with all these straight lines or whatever. But let's just see what happens. We'll just put ellipse on stroke. Just like so. Points, 0.2. I put 0.23, doesn't really matter. Control J, and then something like this. Does it work? It doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look like it goes in. It doesn't really flow well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take one from each, drag it over with Alt. That's what I'm doing to duplicate it. And then I'll take one from this one, and then put it like that. That's what I'll do to make it look pretty good. So that looks pretty good. Alright, for now though, we're basically done with that whole entire, like, you know, messy part. This is basically where it gets to the part where it's very simple to do after all that crazy stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what to do. So I'm going to group all this together though. We're going to call this part 1, sure. And I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go ahead and use blue for this. I'm going to use a brush, a big brush though. So I'm going to hold Control Alt is how I actually make it bigger. I'm going to hold right click, move left and right to make your diameter bigger. And for your hardness, you can just go up to make it smaller. So, or down 0. Going up makes it 0. So with this, I'm going to get a nice big brush here on a new layer. And I'm just going to basically click over here, and like over here. So like a nice little, like, you know, top left, top right, bottom. You can, you know, doesn't have to be perfect in the middle, whatever. We're just going to put some light in. So I'm going to take this though. I'm going to put it on linear dodge add. And I'm going to take my opacity. I'm going to lower it down to about 20. And this will start giving us like the depth that we need, just a little bit of color to work with. And also when we start using CC corrections, it will help us out as well. So also though, we have to of course make the duplicate of it and make it blurred. So we'll do that right now. Control J to duplicate the first part, the part 1 that we have here. Control E to merge it together. And then basically we're going to press Control T to free transform it. So we're going to have 2 copies of this. And I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to make this a lot bigger. So I'm going to take the corner, just make it a bit bigger. And make sure I put it below it. It already is. I'm going to see where it kind of like needs to be filled in. Like just maybe something like right around here. It doesn't really matter. What we're going to do is going to filter. blur, Gaussian blur. About 6% is not bad, or 6 pixels. Press OK, and then we start getting on the whole, excuse me, my chair, the whole like part where it's getting a nice depth of field going on here. So I can do whatever. I can move it over here, but I kind of want to don't want to have it like look like that. So I'm gonna move it back. So something like right here. That's whatever. It's good for now. So though you can already see that we have the little part going on. You see this is a lot more darker. The reason why that is because I use the brightness and contrast color correction. So this little half circle here, brightness and contrast. Make this a little bit darker. The brightness go down. So go to the negatives, and for the contrast, bring this up, and we'll see. We'll mess around with this a little bit more though. All right, that's looking really, really good. So -30. And then for the contrast, I'm going to put 55, just for tutorial purposes, if you're completely following what I'm doing. That's the 40. That is what I'm going to be using for the brightness and contrast. So what I'm going to do now is really all up to you. I'm going to actually shift-click on all this. I'm going to press Control-J, Control-E. I basically shift-click on everything that we just did, including the background, and we're going to go ahead and blur some things out. So Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And I'm going to blur it about 3% or 3 pixels. And we're going to go ahead and take some spots and just blur them out. Just like so. Alright, but for this as well, we're going to flip through these really quickly and see which one gives us that, like, alright, that looks pretty good. Like that dark spots in some places. What else works best? We're going to see what works best really quick. I think overlay looked pretty good. Soft shadow looked pretty good. So I'm going to go with soft light. So I'm going to lower this opacity just a little bit, but you can see it gives us darker spots in some places. So you can see that's what we just did, and it looks pretty good. And for this part, we're going to make a new layer. We're going to go ahead and take our pen tool again, and we're just going to fill in some spots. So basically, I'm going to click over here. You want to do this as perfect as possible, but I'm just going to be doing it fast. I'm just going to put some random triangles in some spots. That just works, you know, that you just feel like you're going to put a triangle in it, put a triangle in it. So boom, something like this over here, this way over here. I found another triangle. It shouldn't be too hard because you have a lot of straight lines everywhere. I see a triangle right here. That'll work. You know, it doesn't have to be completely perfect. It doesn't always have to be a triangle either. But as long as it's some kind of shape and just fills in some spots, you can see. I see a triangle here. I want to make it full. Let's put it like that. We'll put something over here. We won't have to make it completely like that. I see one like here, of course. Where else can I put one? Like I don't want to put too many, but like this is gonna work for me. I'll put it like right here as well. Why not? You drop it down. All right, cool. So right-click, fill path, drop down, use color white. That's what we're gonna be doing, and we're gonna go ahead and just delete the path. We're gonna change it from normal to subtract, and we're just going to lower the opacity down just so it's not completely super dark. That looks pretty freaking good. We're looking really, really nice so far. I really do have I really like how this is going. I like couldn't speak for a second. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. In all honesty, we can do a little more blurring. Control or shift click on everything. Control E. We can use like radial blur is a really nice one for this. I did use that. I use zoom and best for my qualities. And my amount, I put the 25 or so. For this, that looks pretty nice. What we're going to do, though, is we're going to flip through it and see what gives us, like, the nicest, like, bright colors. Like, something like this wouldn't look terrible. You see how it gives, like, that little radial blur, like, really nice and vibrant. So we can remember lighten. Color dodge add looks pretty good as well. Which one do I like best, though? I think color dodge add. So we'll just do that. We're going to lower the opacity down, though, a little bit. And we're just going to take our eraser and just erase a couple spots. And I just want it really on like the blurry parts. So just something like that. Wouldn't look too bad, right? Alright, sweet. So just put a little more effects on it, whatever. What you can do is you can do whatever the heck you want. For this, really, that's pretty much all I did. You know, I do have a lot less, though. I did say less is more on this. It all really comes with trial and error. It doesn't take too much. As long as you know what you're doing, what shapes you want to use. Overall, it will look really, really cool if you just start over and just like do it multiple times. Whatever, it looks pretty good. So you can see what I have here. And we'll see what I have here. I'll write Plexus text again. Plexus tech, I meant. Plexus will be a nice offset white. Come on. There we go. Offset white. And then for the word tech, We can leave it this color, or we'll just take the most vibrant color on here, which is this yellow or greenish. Like so. Put it somewhere in the middle. I can make it a little bit bigger. Oops. Bigger, and there we go. Plexus Tech. Now, like, this is all you can, at this moment, you'd probably want to use like the other tutorial for the text, and you can get a really, really cool like Plexus theme kind of going. I'm talking about this video, by the way. Let's see if I can drag it in for you. This one where I showed off how to do something like this. Right here, I showed off how to do something like this. Just turn that off. See? Looks pretty good. So you can do something like that with this. And for the background, just use something very simple. But if you use this background with this kind of effect, it will look really, really badass, I think. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I can make a new layer. I can put a nice little white on the top if I wanted to. A simple brush, right? Soft brush. It's already soft. Time on the top. And I can probably use brightness and contrast to make it a little bit more darker if I kind of want it dark. I don't know what it is. I just love the way darker like styles look. Alright, that looks really, really nice. So overall, it came out very nice, like very clean, just very like flows really well, and it's a very fun thing to do. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today with this Plexus Tech kind of like theme banner design going on here. Don't forget, guys, check out the description for the Plexus Tech text effects, which look really, really nice with this as well. Overall, if you wanted multiple colors, by the way, I can use student saturation really quickly. I want to do this just to see what it looks like. We'll take the nearest, coolest color, like this one right here. That looks really nice. It's like green and yellow here, or a different shade of it, basically. Click on my eraser. Click on this little white little canvas thing here, which is basically your thumbnail. Erase a couple spots. You can get some very cool two-toned things going on. And it looks really nice. So yeah, cool. So don't forget, guys, 200 likes on the video equals a secret down below. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to check out my Twitter at SesoHQ if you guys want to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to check out my sellfy.com/SesoHQ store where you can get pre-mades and packs as low as $5. And overall, I'm very, very thankful for everything, and I can't wait for what comes this year. Also, like, remind me again when you guys are going on winter break, because I'm going to be on until like January 25th. So I want to do some live streams here and there for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Seso out. Peace.